Welcome to DU Digimon.
Hello and welcome to DU Digimon and welcome to yet another video. If you're liking this content, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel and ding that notification bell if so you're not missing out on any of the latest content. I would just like to first start, sorry if I seemed a little bit unenthusiastic in the last video I did. I was tired as absolutely anything because I was playing around with custom cards all day, but I am feeling a lot better today despite it being a Monday. So I am feeling good today. So what are we doing today? It's a very good question, my rhetorical audience, but essentially what we're going to do is because we're not doing any profiles or kind of matches this week, because we've got Jank Tank 6 coming out next week. Make sure to join us for that on Monday the 28th of October, and the rest of the week next week, literally every day next week apart from Sunday, we'll have an upload, which is going to be bonkers. But we're looking at Special Booster 2.0 because in my infinite wisdom, when I decided when we were going to release Jank Tank 6, it just so happened to coincide with the original release date week of Special Booster 2.0, which, as it would happen, surprises all round everyone, UK has it delayed again. Woohoo! So far, and I say so far, it is only a 3-day delay. It could be worse. It looks like the Netherlands are getting a delay by about 10 days. God forbid, I've not even looked at LATAM yet. I know LATAM have it the worst in terms of the delays and stuff like that. So I'm really hoping, I'm praying that they are not going to get too hit by this. Obviously Bandai are now going to be bringing in stuff by air now through the invention of the aeroplane. They're going to be now bringing stuff in that way instead of by sea, which is what they were doing before. Hopefully that will solve the issue, but we'll have to see going forward, and that is a discussion for a different video entirely. Let me know if you guys would like us to cover that. But anyways, let's take a look at Special Booster 2.0. So first of all, before we kind of do go into it, let's take a look at what has gone on as we're coming to a close with the BT7 Meta with the little bit of EX7 in it. Obviously, this is going to be the English meta here, and then we're also going to take a quick look at the Japanese meta as well, as it kind of took place with BT18. But as you can see here on screen, what I've done is I've kind of tried to group everything on Digimon Meta as best I could, and kind of gone, this is going to be, what's going on. So we've got a couple of 3 Great Angels, we've got quite a few 7DL, and then we get to Imperial Dramon. Look at all these Imperial Dramon lists that have taken first place at some point over the last kind of month or so. Because it genuinely has not been that long since we got BT17. It's been what? About 2 months? 2 months maybe? I can't remember. But these have been going on for a little while. Obviously, some of these are, I believe, in... Oh, no, these all will be in the correct kind of... I say the correct. Most of the audience is American. I will say it to your face, the correct way of writing the date. I hope I don't piss any of you guys off saying that. But anyways, we've got... Imperial took a lot of wins. Blue Hybrid took a lot of wins in one form or another. You get the odd deck like Blackwall Grey 1X here for some reason. Cherubi, Chessmon, some stuff which isn't really that meta. Doramon, Doru taking a lot of wins here. In regionals, in Evo Cups, these are a good mix of things really. We've got a couple of Omnimon lists here. We've got a few Magnas. Couple of machines somehow. Gabu Ancient, which I kind of just lump in with Blue Hybrid, I'll be honest. But that's a kind of a good scope of the meta. The current meta at the moment is blue decks are best deck. With a couple of decks which are kind of outliers. So like, for example, Dorugamon is an outlier, and that's really an outlier because it does really well at managing against some of those other decks. It has a great matchup against Armor, for example, because it just forces Magnamon X to go into collision. It has a great matchup against Imperial because of the fact you're using collision to delete a lot of your opponent's Digimon. Gets around the partition effect of the Pyodramon. Dextoro is one of the best kind of anti-meta decks right now in terms of what it's doing, and it will kind of still be very good going forward. But that, you know, that's our current meta at the moment. We're mostly seeing blue decks being at the forefront, with Imperial Dramon absolutely being the deck of the format, and some other things like you know, blue hybrid, armor, the Mirage Galgamon stuff, whether it be Galaxy Loop or kind of just using the Huan Kunmon and stuff like that, and that sort of stuff is kind of what's at the forefront of our current meta. Going into the Japanese meta, now bearing in mind obviously the Japanese meta will be slightly different to what our meta will be. First of all, obviously we're going to have some of the BT19 stuff, though ultimately I won't be covering much of that in this video because of the fact that it's the 19 stuff is mainly, we'll be taking a look at the card list as well from the set, but you know, the main stuff from BT19 is stuff like Millennium Mon, Royal Base. Royal Base, I mean, could be pretty good. You know, especially with some of the insect kind of text that you can put into it. But both that and Millennium Mon, I don't think are going to be the best decks of the format, you know, going forward. I think both will probably have issues with speed. Millennium Mon especially, I think will have some issues. Only time will tell, you know, ours being a best of 3 format versus a best of 1 format, although I have theorized that maybe because of that, of the releases being married up, we might start seeing more best of 1s. We just had a best of 1 regional up in Glasgow actually, which I'm glad I didn't go to in the end because I was very tempted to buy a ticket for that, but A, it was going to be a pain in the arse to try and get there. B, once I found out it was going to be a best of 1 tournament, I didn't really want anything to do with it, because I just don't like the idea of a best of 1 tournament. I think a lot of the time you will find people will be able to cheese out wins a lot more because they'll just bring a deck that you haven't seen, give you that disadvantage of not being able to kind of learn it and learn your matchup, and they'll just you know, do away with you. I do much prefer a best of 3 format. But anyways, looking at how the BT18 meta did go, so this is, have I grouped this all up? So deck profiles, placements, deck profiles. There we go. So we're still seeing a lot of 7 Demon Lords taking first places. We're still seeing a lot of Imperial Dramon. We're seeing a lot of Black Hybrid Mother. Now this is the first deck so far that has some proper updates to it, because obviously the Black Hybrid stuff does use a lot of the new Black Hybrids, the new Mercury Mon and the new Sephiroth Mon, as well as the Shadow Seraphi Mon, the new Ace Monster, which is a card I will definitely be touching upon in this video because I think that's really good. I'm going to try and steer away from Lord Nightmon because everyone is going on about, you know, Lord Nightmon is super spooky. Lord Nightmon is the scariest deck I've ever seen, and that one is a BT19 card, to be fair. I think, yeah, BT19 card. Yeah, I think it is. But yeah, it is. Yeah. But you know, I'm going to try and avoid it because everyone is on the Lord Nightmon is scary train, and I don't want to talk about stuff that everyone has already talked about. If you want to see a really good kind of explanation of that, head over to DigiDane's channel. I watched that earlier, I think this morning, and I was really, you know, really impressed by the explanation of why Lord Nightmon is going to be so scary. So, you know, like I say, I don't want to touch that stuff because I think everyone has gone on about Lord Nightmon being scary. You know, I'd rather focus on some other bits. But yeah, you know, the meta, the BT18 specifically meta is kind of a good mix of stuff. You know, we see Galacticmon coming back. I've actually singled out a Galacticmon list. I have tried to because something actually I kind of forgot to say, kind of along the differences in the meta. So with the differences we've got in our meta, obviously A, we've got to have some of the BT19 stuff. B, Japan had the LM stuff, including the scrambles. We don't have that yet because they're not due until December when we get our reprint set. So there are some strategies that still won't be at full capacity because they don't have options to the option of those staples. You know, for example, you can't do the birds combo. Not saying that that's one of the best decks in the format, but it's just the one that comes to mind because I'm a burb player. You know, and things like that. So our meta will be very different, along with the fact it's a best of 3. You know, but yeah, so this is it's going to be a very interesting kind of playground going forward. But let's take a look at a couple of decks I have singled out. So again, I've tried to steer away from scrambles and stuff like that. This is going to be Mother Control going forward, which is quite interesting. You know, we've got the new Mercurymon in here, so that is the until the end of your opponent's turn, your opponent's effects can't return this Digimon to the hand or deck, and it just gives 2000 DP on the opponent's turn for your big blockers to be even bigger. It also is going to be using the Metal Kabuterimon, which can Digivolve on top of both Digimon and Tamers for a cost of 4, which does seem quite a hefty cost, but it will inherently give blocker to anything that doesn't have it, and will de-Digivolve when it's on played, which is quite cool. You've also, of course, got the Shadow Serafimon making its appearance here. This is going to be a really cool card. I really want to use it in a bunch of different lists, Mother Control included. You know, it's got de-Digivolves 3, it's got blocker inherently, and when the attack target's changed, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 5k, which that's really good. If they attack in, you can massively punish them with this, because you block, you blast timing, de-Digivolve whatever was swinging in, and then but you block it and then use the all turns minus 5k to potentially finish it off, you know, which I think is really, really nice. You know, or you can even use it to clear a different body after you've de-Digivolved the one that's attacking in. You know, it's I think it's going to be a really special card. I also did separate out a Galacticmon list. Galacticmon's actually getting some support, which is really nice, and it did actually manage to take a first place at this event here, Gamers Tavern, which I don't think is probably a big tournament by the looks of it, but and now this does use a scramble, but it's only one, so I thought this list would still be okay to go over. But you know, yeah, we're seeing some Venmon stuff, and Venmon's going to be interesting because it's going to have the EOS problem, which is all of the old support you can have a billion copies of. So these Venmons, the old Venmon from BT11, those were the days. You know, these ones could be at, you know, you could include up to 50 copies of this card. The new one, though, which is really nice, you can't do that with. So you're only going to have 4 copies of this available in your deck. So you're going to have to really kind of prey on searching it out. I mean, this one is a really good searcher. Reveal top 3, add 1 Venmon in its text, and place 1 Venmon as the bottom Digivolution card of one of your Digimon. So really nice there. You know, it helps to facilitate that effect of kind of getting more stuff under your stack, which is really good. And then also has this great inheritable of when this Digimon would Digivolve into a Digimon card with Venmon in its text, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1, which is really nice. I mean, that just really helps with the consistency. We've got a new Snatchmon as well, which just kind of basically replaces the old one by the looks of it. You know, when Digivolving, you place up to 2 Venmon from your trash as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards. That's really cool. End of your turn, if this Digimon has 4 or more Digivolution cards, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with Venmon in its text in your hand, which is really nice. I mean, being able to just kind of cheat straight into something, very, very cool. Also has a Digicross, in which you just put you know, up to 4 Venmon underneath it. You know, just facilitates that end of turn effect straight away. When Venmon is returned from this Digimon's Digivolution cards as well to the bottom of the deck, unsuspend this Digimon and it gains blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. Really, really nice support. I really like it. We've also got, obviously, we don't get a new Galacticmon itself, but I think we're due one at some point. I don't remember if one got revealed for BT19. It definitely hasn't been in Special Booster 2.0. If it is, it'll be in the 2.5. But I have a funny feeling if it hasn't been kind of revealed in BT19 at all, we might see a new Galacticmon in EX8, which reveals are coming out for that soon. So you know, keep eyes peeled for all those Galacticmon players out there. Also, they get a tamer. That's kind of the tale of any archetype, is when you start getting your own tamers. You've got Zenith here. By trashing 1 Venmon in your hand, draw 1 and gain 1 memory. So it's like a cool boy effect at the start of main, which is really nice. And then when any of your Digimon attacks, by suspending this tamer and returning 2 Venmon from that Digimon's Digivolution cards to the bottom of the deck, de-Digivolve 1 of your opponent's Digimon. So really, really nice thing there. You know, I had thought I'd singled out some other decks. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to bring up the actual card list for Special Booster 2.0, because I did want to have a chat about kind of cards that I think I personally find quite interesting going forward, and I wanted to start first with some of the rookies, in particular our 2-color rookies like Penguinmon. Penguinmon, I think, is a much more significant card than I think a lot of people are giving, you know, notice to. It is just a common, and a lot of all of these rookies are commons, but I find them really interesting. When this Digimon or any of your tamers would digivolve into a multicolour blue or red Digimon cards, reduce the digivolution cost by 1. So helps you kind of, obviously it costs 1 to begin with, so it kind of does mitigate that cost reduction, but it helps your tamers be cheaper as well. But the more important thing for it is that from the off, on a Digimon that can digivolve on a red Digi-Egg can give you jamming in an inheritable. I have been wanting some form of jamming in red ever since I first laid my eyes on BT1 War Greymon. Because if you put jamming under BT1 War Greymon, you have a Digimon which is just immune to everything in security. Options, it jams the battles as well. Nothing. It's it's immune to all of it, apart from, well, tamers, technically. But no tamer is going to be blitzing you off the planet with that. And I think that's really special. So I have come up with some lists around these cards I'm going to be talking about. So I'll pop the one up on screen. Sorry about that. I'll pop the one on screen that I've come up with. And as you may notice, it is a Skull Hybrid list. So a Skull Hybrid has become one of my most fun to play meme decks. Since I did it in Jank Tank, since it kind of rest in peace, but rest in peace to Digital Masochist. Ever since I played Skull Meramon in the Digital Masochist series, which if anyone wants to give the last one for that, the 15 likes I asked for to get that boosted up, that'd be great. Because I'd love to continue that series, but obviously if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. But I do think the idea of jamming in that deck is really special. I've also kind of put in the Korikakumon and the Kumamon as well, along with the Tomihimis. So it's kind of a blue-red list now. Will it be better than the one that you'll see in Jank Tank? Who knows? But I think it'll be a very fun list, and I think the very idea specifically that you can give jamming to BT1 War Greymon or to that Skull Meramon as well, because the Skull Meramon has that security tap +1. Obviously, it doesn't have the protection like the Greymon does, but I think that is a very cool little combo to potentially look into. Let's take a look next at we're going to look at Tinkermon. So I'll just find her. Where are you, Tinkermon? Tinkermon. Penguinmon was there. Tinkermon, Tinker. Where are you, Tinkermon? There you are, Tinkermon. So you'd think I'd get all these at the ready, but my computer is slowing down massively on Chrome recently, so I don't want to have too many tabs open, I'll be honest, especially when I'm recording at the same time, when it works. So Tinkermon does the same sort of thing of being something that you can kind of put into a hybrid deck essentially, and it will reduce the colours of the multicolour green or reds. Obviously the idea is you put them all in the same deck pretty much, and then you're constantly making your hybrid Digimon that digivolving on your tamers cheaper to go into, so that you could ultimately then do your stuff to go into Emperor Greymon, or in the case of the yellow stuff into Magna Garurumon. But I like, much like with that Penguinmon, I like the idea of trying to fit these into other lists. So the one I've gone for, of course, is Tyrannomon. Now you will notice I have put the EX8 stuff in this because I'm too excited for the EX8 stuff and I want to start theorizing for that. But until we've seen what rookies we actually have available, which I have a funny feeling after the Tentomon got revealed earlier this week, which by the time this video comes out, more stuff could have been revealed. I reckon it will be a red rookie and a red egg, because we've already had our green stuff, and it's for NSP, surprisingly, which, yes, NSP's got Searcher. But, the Tinkermon, I think, is really cool. It can help you go into the Tyrannomons for 1 cheaper, because all of them are green-red, and gives them piercing, just inherently. Now, the Tyrannomon X promo will also be able to do that, but there's no issue with having that inheritable come up twice, because you don't know what you're going to be able to make with your stack. Yes, you might end up with a stack where you've got double piercing, but you might also go up against stuff that's got some sort of removal. So the Tinkermon is, I think, going to be a really cool addition to those kind of green-red lists, obviously mainly for hybrids, but for Tyrannomon as well. Whilst we're on Tinkermon, I also want to talk about where is she? It is Ancient Kazemon. Ancient Mermaid, Ancient Megatheriumon. Where are you, Ancient Kazamon? Should be around somewhere where Tinkermon was, I would think. Ancient Troymon. Ancient Kaisaleomon. Lucemon. Oh, where the hell is it? Sorry, you'd think I would be more prepared for this. I never am. Because why would I? Wait, hang on. Instead of doing that... Oh no, hang on. There we go. There she is. Ancient Kazamon. There we go. So, Ancient Kazamon. Now, obviously, this is another green-red card, and you can cross into it off of Kazamon and Zephyrmon. But actually, something I noticed about this one is its effects and its traits make it fit in birds. So you can actually play this in birds. It's a vaccine as well, so you can still search it off of Akiho and off of your Biomon. And because it's got 11,000 DP, it's playable off of Phoenixmon X, which is really cool. It potentially is going to be quite a nice addition. In my list, I've specifically replaced Valkyremon Ace with it, because the issue I found with Valkyremon Ace is that you couldn't really search that at all. Whereas this you can. Obviously, it's not an Ace. That would be preferable. But, it's still going to be really cool. Suspends all of your opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP as this Digimon, and none of their Digimon can unsuspend at the end of their turn. That really helps birds, because if birds doesn't manage to kill you, it doesn't always have a lot of defensive options. Yeah, it might be able to kind of poop out some blockers, but, it doesn't always have that option. So by suspending their entire board, or all the stuff smaller than the Ancient Kazamon anyway, which, bearing in mind the bigger stuff might have gotten deleted anyway by your other effects and by the very act of playing this out in the first place off of Phoenixmon X, you can then just stun their board really loads, which I think is a really nice little combo. All turns as well, when this Digimon would leave the battle area, you may play one level 4 or lower Digimon card with the hybrid trait, or avian, bird, or fairy in its traits, so it can actually play out your level 4 or lower cards from this Digimon's Digivolution card. So if you manage to evolve up into it, it will actually kind of help you go into those cheaper, which is really, really good. So I think that's a really cool tech. I did try to see if you could put Kazamon and Zephyrmon in it, so you could also do the cross, but unfortunately the Kazamon is a fairy, so it doesn't quite work as well. I might still try it. I think that would be quite cool, but again, this is what I want to focus on. It's kind of little random combos like this, and random little kind of things that you can use in decks that maybe you've not thought of. Maybe you didn't think about putting Ancient Kazamon into birds. Maybe you didn't think about putting Tinkermon into Tyrannomon. I don't always like to focus on the meta stuff, because everyone focuses on the meta stuff, and I get why. It wins. We all like to win. But you know what? Sometimes I just like to have fun. It's not always about winning. It's about just having fun at the end of the day. And there are probably people that will be watching this, and you may very well want to dislike this video because I've said that, and that says more about you than it says about me. But anyways, sorry, I'm apparently a bit of a vengeance warrior today. But let's have a look and see what other things we're having a look at. So, in terms of like other lists we've come up with, there was also 3 Great Angels. That's got support, obviously, with the Shadow Seraphimon. We've got the new Luxmon. We've got the new Archaiangemon and the Pidomon. I have to say Pido, not the other word that will get me in trouble. The Pidomon, is quite cool because it's got that security effect. It's basically a Sukamon within the Angel archetype. Which actually is not bad, and especially because you can place it into the security on its own anyway. Yeah, you can probably use the yellow vaccine engine, and I did see there was one of the Japanese lists. Was it this one? There was a Japanese BT18 list that used... Sorry. The yellow vaccine stuff. It wasn't this one. It was a different list. I can't remember. But here's my list that I came up with for it. It uses a lot of the cool new BT18 support, uses the Shadow Seraphimon. The Shadow Seraphimon, of course, is treated as a 3 Great Angel. So you can still use it a lot in a lot of your effects and search it with the old Luxmon. And if you were playing Descent of the Three Great Angels, you can also use it for that. Pretty cool. I also, just as a slight tech as well, I've been noticing more yellow lists using BT8 Cody, which I really like in this. I might also put it in the next list I'll talk about, which is going to be with when I find him, I believe it is Kabuterimon. I'm mainly talking about these rookies because I'm really interested by these rookies and what applications we can use them for, especially because with Code Kabuterimon it's black and yellow, so you can search it with BT9 Maki, and BT9 Maki is a card that I've always had a fond spot for because it's one I always try and shoehorn into my blacklists, especially the dual color ones, because it just searches any of them, and it can search this Kabuterimon. This can actually make your going into your multicolor black Digimon cheaper and your multicolor black yellow Digimon cheaper as well. On that note, there's also the Leolmon that does the same for purple and yellow, and you could actually use both of them in the same list if you wanted to, which is really nice. This gives blocker. The Leolmon actually gives retaliation, so if you wanted to put that into like a dual color yellow list, that's really cool, especially if you've got kind of a lot of blockers. I was actually very tempted to put it into my jumbo list, which will be on screen now. So I wanted to keep a lot of the Armadillomon stuff that I've done previously, but still kind of shoehorning in more of these kind of black yellow elements, so stuff like the Shadow Seraphimon, this Kokabuterimon, and of course the Tamer cards as well. So the going into the what they call Beetlemon, and I can't remember the name of the other one. What was his name? It was it Metal Kabuterimon? I think it's Metal Kabuterimon. I'm pretty sure it's Metal Kabuterimon. Yes, Metal Kabuterimon. So you could use those, and those underneath Jumbo Gabumon, pretty cool. I mean, on play went D-Digivolve with the Metal Kabuterimon. You also have the protection effect with the Beetlemon. So not bad at all. Not bad at all. What else did we have a look at? I've got all of these lists here. There was Hexabrid. So that was utilizing the Kumamon and the Kurikakumon, because they, interestingly, have the Ice Snow trait, as does Ancient Megatheriumon. So you can actually kind of complete that deck now. Because all of the stuff in it can now utilize the Ice Snow trait. You probably still want to use the Huankunmon in there for your unsuspend, but the big Penguinmon. What's it called? Is he literally called Big Penguinmon? I actually can't remember what he's called. Everything's obviously going to be on screen by this point, but it was what's his name? Dipenmon, that's his name. So there is that, and we've got quite a few different tools that we can utilize in that deck, which will be really fun. I do apologize if this is a bit of a rambly casual video rather than a scripted masterpiece like a lot of my compatriots do. I just didn't have time to script anything, so I'm just talking, I'll be honest. But yeah, we've got some interesting kind of little ideas and things that we want to kind of see with the BT18 stuff. So let me know what you guys want to do, want to see on the channel, or what you guys are planning on playing come BT18-19. I think there's a lot of interesting cards that we can use. There's the Lucamon stuff. I know Beardy Dan is very excited by the Lucamon stuff. There's a lot of really cool things coming our way. We've got the Witchel Knee stuff, we've got the Deep Savers stuff, and obviously the new Boogeyman Lord Nightmon as well. So we've got a lot of cool stuff coming our way. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this more kind of casual format for the discussion video. Also, let me know honest feelings if I should be scripting these videos, because I probably should be. For God's sake, I have a writing degree, so I should probably freaking use it. But let's just let me know whatever, guys. Let me know whatever you're feeling. Like, subscribe, ding that notification bell, and we'll see you for Jank Tank 6 next week. Again, apologies again for these more kind of casual videos if it's not your thing. But if it is your thing, anyways, until Jank Tank 6, guys, we'll see you then. Keep it digital.